Okay. Hi, everybody. Let's hope this is working and you're seeing this screen and not one of the other ones. I always worry about that with Zoom. So, hi, I'm Tori. Sorry this is going to be going up kind of late. It had some issues and corrupted, so this is the second run, but it's relatively short, so should be all right. Let's see. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a human factor scientist at the INL. I specialize in human-computer interaction, human reliability analysis, human error, and cognitive modeling. Before I was in human factors, I was a performance analyst out at the Materials and Fuels Complex here at INL, and there I participated in a few different event investigations that we had for some incidents out there. I have master's in human factors. My bachelor's was in philosophy, and I'm currently pursuing a PhD in biological engineering. I have 3 girls, 2 dogs, also girls. I'm pretty into video games, movies, books. Design challenges I put on there is kind of a weird one where I just tend to enjoy exploring or considering weird design quirks of life, I guess. So sometimes you'll see me post probably in the Slack things that I see that are awful. So okay, so since this is accident investigation, I'm going to cover accident investigation kind of generally, just kind of to help you guys orient where we're doing. And so essentially agreements on terms and concepts in general. What I mean by that is that accident investigation fundamentally is a it is the same thing across standards that you are. Let's see. All right, working for me. One of my kids is freaking out about the Wi-Fi. That one day could be an accident investigation. So yeah, so agreements on terms and concepts. So let me get back to my train of thought. So fundamentally, accident investigation will progress with relatively the same phases, tasks, methods, and those things. However, you should be aware that depending on your application space, you might be prescribed some specific approaches or standards or have certain requirements. So big ones are NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board. Anytime there's a big transportation event, planes crashing, trains derailing, they get involved. They tend to do extremely thorough accident investigations. Another one that I didn't put on the list here, but like OSHA, so the Occupational Safety and Hazards Administration, does a lot of these as well. DOE and NRC. So because I'm an INL person, Department of Energy, Nuclear Regulatory Commission have certain requirements for some of their particular standards. What we have to, or what specific tools and methods are all right to use. FEMA, on occasion, you'll see these with like weather-related events. I believe they did one for Katrina and some other ones there. Department of Homeland Security also would have their own investigation in their kind of sphere. So this course will cover kind of the basic concepts and some selected examples maybe across these, but keep in mind this isn't a course on any one of these standards. So if you were to work in accident investigation in any of these fields, you would definitely want to orient yourself with the particular space and requirements there. So about you guys and this course. So remote and digital for the win. So I worked my entire bachelor's and master's, so asynchronous, remote, different Non-traditional class formats is kind of what I'm used to, but I recognize that that's tends to be what I prefer. So if you don't, please let me know. If you want, we could schedule like breakout sessions or like almost like a fixed office hours where everybody can hop on the Zoom if they want. But with COVID and everything, I recognize that's kind of that could be challenging for people. So just let me know. So we're going to be using Slack. I think everybody's in there so far as the primary platform for us. My goal is to have lectures up by Wednesday of each week. I'll try to get them or sooner than that, but that'll happen at times. And the last thing I want to point out is if you need any assistance or any help with anything, if it's COVID related or any other kind of issue that can crop up, don't hesitate to let me know. I had a student in a former semester who had asked for an extension and then missed the extension and due to some loss of I believe a family member passed, and they didn't want to speak to me about that because they thought I would think they were lying or something. No, I don't. I guess if you are, that's okay, whatever. Like, it doesn't really affect me. It affects your learning more than mine. So, but you can always reach out if something's going on. I don't mind. So syllabus, quick read through. Okay, give me 1 second here and we will bring that up. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so what is it? Okay, so this is our syllabus here. So yeah, there's my name, my email. That's my personal email, my U of I one. Feel free to use it if you need to, but Slack's probably the fastest way. I didn't put a fax in here. I don't think anybody should send faxes anymore. I think we should all band together and let it go extinct. Office hours, kind of by appointment. If you need to, we can hop on and go over anything you need. With the course description, I mean, this is straight out of the catalog. The big thing I wanted to highlight your attention with is this. So if your root cause is human error, then you didn't go deep enough. So that is from a trainer in my root cause training that I went through for my job. And as we go through, the term root cause will make more sense. But a lot of times people will think that human error is the root cause, human mistakes are what caused all of the issues. And that is tends to be the lazy way out. It's just not generally right. Humans make a lot of errors and failures, but usually precipitated by different things. We already talked a little bit about this. We're gonna go through a lot of the general concepts, some basic tools, methods, and to kind of help you, I guess, couch or orient different risk factors or things that could be at play that could affect an accident. I'll skip over the objectives there and the course requirements. The main one is just asynchronous and use Slack. I'm fine to help set up any Slack stuff or answer any questions if you need to. And the regular discussions would be indicative of any participation or any of that stuff. My little COVID-19 thing, just again, let me know. The way I like to phrase it is life is more important than a class. So, if something goes on or whatever, I'd rather you reach out and we work it out than you stress out on top of the stress of just life right now. Course materials. So we're not going to have like a book or anything like that. We'll have some specific case studies and accident reports. I'll get into that in a little bit, especially this point, that you'll select a primary event, either grounding point. However, if you are in the mood to buy some books, these two, if you can get them, a little bit older, but are fantastic. I still have my human error. I've actually loaned out my step phasers to Stun before COVID happened. So I'm hoping to one day get that back. So evaluation, so assignments. You'll have 2 bigger case study evaluation reports and presentations. one approximately a third of the way through the course, one maybe 2/3 of the way is what I'm thinking. Otherwise, we have to have a final. I don't want to overburden everything, but we'll see how it goes. Homework items, 20 points per. Homework is essentially going to be it's going to be most of our Slack interactions. So there will be some unstructured discussion points there, and then some where you have to answer specific points. So if you have any questions, let me know there, but that's intended to be something you want to do that's actually interesting. So, and hopefully, again, my goal is to make this entire class build on itself so that honestly, when you get to a final, it's almost all done by then. We have our course outline here. And then these are all the standard kind of aspect for online courses for the university. I did add some of this here. So the one thing that I want to note specifically about, since this is going to be an asynchronous, fully digital class, this netiquette section is important, especially this second one. So I just want to read that and make sure we're totally clear. So the primary discussion medium or process is going to occur on Slack. As such, this section is extremely important for you all to understand. I have pretty high expectations of decency, which to me are a baseline for all interactions, and as such, will not tolerate anything less than those expectations. It's shockingly easy to be kind and decent. If you struggle with this, then perhaps this course isn't for you. And then it's just some of these things, I don't mind humor. You'll notice I use it often, if not all the time. Just, keep in mind, don't be a troll. Always give your classmates the benefit of the doubt. If somebody makes a comment that doesn't make sense or maybe seems obviously wrong, I'm sure that was reactionary. Respect is the baseline, not an aspiration. And inclusive language isn't being nice or being PC. It's a demonstration of the previous bullet. Zero tolerance will be had for any rude, crass, or otherwise non-inclusive language. If you're unsure if your post is inclusive or not, then it probably isn't. So delete and try again. Sexism, racism, stereotyping, hateful speech or rhetoric, or any other discriminatory post, writing, interactions, etc., will result in an F in the course and a referral to the provost and the dean of the College of Engineering. The measuring stick of your behavior, unfortunately, is my opinion alone. I'm more confident in our ability to detect poor behavior than to define it. As the late Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart once said, I know it when I see it. I don't think we'll have any issues. I never really have, but I just want to make sure we're clear on those points. So we'll go back here, and then let me get this working again. Let's see. Oh, hold. Okay, fingers crossed this will work better than the previous one. I got a new Mac Mini, and it's been falling off my Wi-Fi. Hurry up through this. Okay, so example events. So in order to make it build on itself and to give you guys something that's applied that can actually work for understanding some of these, because accident investigation is kind of weird if the concepts are relatively simple in theory, but when you get to the practice is really where the problems are. So we have 5 people in the class. I want each person, so you have those 2 case studies. Each person is going to pick one for one of these events for each of them. You're not limited to just this one or just these events, but if you have a different one, let me know. So these are just big ones that I know are well documented or have some different angles that might be interesting. So the Columbia NASA Space Shuttle event is a fairly well-documented one and has had a lot of work done on it. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill, recent one here, the Surfside condo collapse is interesting because it's not totally clear, at least from recent reporting yet, that that there was any kind of human organizational type failures beyond just cost savings, possibly. The Miami Herald's been doing a lot of the best reporting for that. The Exxon Valdez oil spill going back a little while. Boeing 737 MAX airline crashes. That's another one that fairly recent, but has had a lot of good work done on it. You can also pick other transportation events. So if there's a particular plane or train or car situation, I know one of us, I want to say it was Elise, but I could be wrong, has been working in automated transportation. So that could be one if there are any events there to look at. Nuclear events. So if you are in the INL like I am, or tangentially connected or whatever, and that's interesting to you, you can pick one of those. These three in particular have been done to death. So there is tons of information on it, tons of learning that's taken place about accident investigation and even just risk management and preventing accidents anyway. So let me know if you're thinking that. The last one's kind of an interesting one, cybersecurity incidents and breaches. So if that's a particular interest for you, let me know. I might have to drum up to see if there's specific failures or instances where there's some documentation on that. A lot of times that can be kept kind of hush-hush, but we can see what we can find. And yeah, if you have another idea, let me know. You know, everything from, you know, power outages, grid events, you know, the Surfside condo thing. So that could be acts of God, climate change. I mean, I want you to kind of take different approaches to this. And we just talked about this a little bit. So 2 case study reports with critiques and presentations. So what I mean there, you're going to read through some material on these accidents, get to where you are pretty comfortable with the timeline, with what happened, what was determined to be the cause, why did they make that determination, and then what happened after the fact. I will expect a report write-up, and I'll share some good examples of kind of the big things you want to include in those, and a presentation that you can just record through PowerPoint or through Zoom if you want. I can give you a hand if you need to upload like a video. And the nice thing is you can just dump those in the Slack, which is pretty nice, and then we can have conversations on that thread. But the critique part is what's really, really important. One of the things I want is for you to be looking at these accident investigation documents with a critical eye. So what did the investigation team do? What didn't they do? What should they have done? Hindsight, you know, did they come up with a cause that in hindsight is not correct and a different cause was found? Those are important things to kind of be aware of, to be critical of those. And as you're in the middle of an accident investigation, to be critical of the process and the kind of direction it's heading. Homework items, we talked about Slack questions, and they should generally be focused around these particular events. So you might have a general question that about, you know, describe your event in this way or whatever. And that is something to answer there, or give your own take or opinions on it, what you know about it, what you don't know. Final project will get there through the semester, and yeah, we'll go through those. So some of our goals, we want to give you foundational knowledge and exposure to different tools so that you can hit the ground running, quote unquote, in any future investigation you may participate in. Better understand how society interacts with these accidents and the context they happen within. Nothing happens in a vacuum, and understanding your particular context is critical. We discussed my quote there about human error being the root cause in the syllabus. Oftentimes, if human error ends up being the root cause, that is due to organizational or management pressure, where the real cause may be higher up in the organization or deeper, um, and could they have various reasons for not wanting to formally put that down as a problem? And that, and especially with these really severe accidents, understanding how they impact society around them. Things like the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, what happened to the Gulf Coast, or the Surfside condo collapse. There's some geologists that are concerned to foundations in Florida disaster and what that did to just kind of NASA and our perception of space travel. So that's an important thing. And then, what is the point of an accident investigation? And why do we, as a society, decide that these massive costs to investigate these events is worth it? And then finally, what are the possible results of accident investigations? If there's real examples, maybe positive interventions that become in place or may prevent a something occurring, or does it mean that a plant or a company failed so badly that they're bankrupt? Those kind of aspects. You want to be able to grapple with the real world impacts. So your first concerned about like due dates or times. I was a kind of a freelance journalist for a while there, so I got pretty sick of deadlines. So, but if you ground or plan your time, then we'll just say by Tuesday, the following Tuesday night, Tuesday, let's say midnight. So as long as it's there by Wednesday morning, you're good. So for us, that would be next Tuesday night. I want to say that's the 31st, but I'm not great about dates. But what I want you to do is post what your select events are, two per each of you, and why you chose those specific events. In order to answer that question, you're going to need to reach out to me directly, in private message or whatever on Slack, and tell me what you're thinking. We'll kind of do a first come, first serve. And there's a couple events that are big enough that possibly might be worth, two people taking the same event, let's say, to give different angles on it. But we can go over that and see if it's even necessary. Explain your knowledge about the event without any research or looking it up now. So the less you know about it, actually, the better. If all you know is, I vaguely know what the Columbia Space Shuttle was, and that's kind of it, then that's okay. That gives you a lot of ground to know things. One of the biggest issues that we have to overcome is our own previous knowledge. So, coming at this fresh can be nice. Are there any particular instances of accidents which are of more interest to you? So, for example, and this isn't phrased perfectly, like particular instances of accidents, I actually meant like characteristics of them. So, human error, system failures, organizational failures, regulations, prevention. When you hear about something like this happen, what are you most interested in? Okay, how that system fail from a engineering perspective, or what were the people thinking, or what's wrong with this organization? Write a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit more about your background before you got to U of I in your existing program. A lot of people put on their, what their degree they're seeking is and those things, but a little bit more just about kind of where we get from or are coming from. And then the last thing, do you have a preference on video length and class interaction? So the class interactions thing is like scheduled breakout Zoom rooms or office hour type things where we can drop in, or if you prefer like totally asynchronous and just Slack is kind of how we interact, that's fine. And then lecture video length. So my class last semester, they would be almost like normal classes, hour and a half to 3 hours. But, with videos and a lot of people watching them on their phones or whatever now, there's definitely a preference for attention to make them shorter. Let me know. And I think that's about it. So have a great weekend. I'm excited to see the Slack post. Reach out to me, talk to me about what events you're thinking. And again, you're supposed to pick two. Maybe think about 3 or 4. Just think. I tried to give you guys a pretty big list there, but trust me, there are tons. And if there's something, a unique type of accident that you're not sure, does it fit or not, let me know, because those are sometimes the most interesting. And I think we are good to go. So be in touch. Appreciate it.